G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peter Lay and it's a pleasure to join you today to talk about Soldier On and youth. Because what we'd like to do is to give you an idea of what Soldier On does and how we can support you. But can I start by saying thank you for your service. We all join the military and we serve with pride. I served for 37 years, finishing up as Chief of Army, and it was something I was really proud of. That you can make a contribution to the nation, you can serve the nation, you can do good in the world. But everybody leaves the military. And at Soldier On, we want to support you as you leave the military. We want to support you while you're in the military, but also support your family, because it is a package. It's something that we do together, and we can help you, you can help each other as we all help and support the nation. So what we're going to do today is just have a bit of a conversation. I'm going to describe briefly what Soldier On does. Soldier On is nationwide now. We've been going for 10 years and we're really proud that we've been able to support the nation, support our veterans, and particularly those who are contemporary veterans. We are spread across the country. We've got presence in most of the capital cities and some of the more regional cities. You probably know about us. We've got a terrific webpage, soldieron.org.au. So listen to us today, but then go and have a look. See what else is on the webpage, because we won't be able to tell you everything today. And the other thing I think it's important to stress is that we're a not-for-profit organisation. We're supported by the federal government, we're supported by state governments, but most importantly, we're supported by the people of Australia. And to me, that means that they recognise your service. They want to help you and they want to support you into the future. So we're going to talk about help. That's the way we remember what we do. So H is for health and well-being. E is for employment. The L is for learning. And P is for participation. And to help me describe those things to you and perhaps answer some of the more detailed things, I've got Prue Slaughter here. Prue is the interim CEO for Soldier On, and she's been concentrating on what we call pathways, but it's our links into employment, into industry. Sarah Hartley's here as well, and Sarah is in social connections. She's the one who really works right across Australia with our staff to make sure that we can engage people. Some people leave the military and they're a bit lost. Well, we don't want you to be lost. We want you to think that you've still got a real purpose. I think in the Army, Navy and Air Force, we've got that sense that we're doing something together. It's a challenge to work together. And sometimes when you lose that sense of team. Well, we can bring that sense of team back. Help all of you, help each other to get ahead and make a really good future. And we say that this is about helping people thrive with their families into the future. So let's turn to the ladies. And Prue, thank you for coming along. We're going to ask you in just a moment about pathways. But Sarah, thank you also for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're going to have to help me a bit today because you're the experts on this.
Happy to.
I get to be chairman. I don't know all the details. And you're also in touch with the people that we support. And I think it's important that you can give some examples of just the difference we've made. And I don't want to start off in a sort of a negative note, but we know right at the moment we've got a Royal Commission into veteran suicide going on at the moment. And we often hear that people will say to us, "You've saved my life." That sense of connection, that sense of employment, that sense of well-being. And I think we should all be proud of that. And that's what I want to hear from you today. So Prue, would you like to start on the pathways and what you're doing there?
Yeah, thank you, Peter. And to the community, of which we know there are so many, in over 10 years, the lives that Soldier On has changed, the enabling of veterans and their families to thrive has been really powered through pathways, and that's the E and the L combined. If we put them together, it starts up that little HELP acronym. But Pathways is it's a powerful program. It is in all of our capital cities, in all of the regions, and it's really going about that transition piece. So, yes, that time whatever the type of transition, when you're stepping out of the military or you're a family member, that's a really important piece as well. And I know, Sarah, I'm looking at you there as a family member yourself. but how can we support the family members through those posting cycles in those new towns and locations? So there's two sides to Pathways, well actually three, but the most important are the boots on the ground, the team in each location. So every single type of support we do is holistic and it's individualised. A current serving member, Navy, Army, Air Force, anyone looking at transition at any point of their service can come in, and maybe even a year after transition, 2 years, 10 years, we're still here. So that's a pretty powerful start. And then we'll sit down. The team are hugely onboarded. They are part of the program itself. Many are veterans and their family members themselves. But we'll have that discussion about how would you like to see the next steps? Where do you see your transition going? What fits? Maybe what have you thought about? What haven't you thought about? What does that future career? And it's a career because it's no longer a posting. It's not a job. It's your career. Where do we want to take you? Because it's got to be something that's going to mean something for you long term, that's going to keep that service going. How do you feel that you can continue to have the most successful transition?
So I've talked about that sense of pride of being in the military, and we should be proud of the contribution we've made. But I think we should also recognise that you've learnt a lot. You've got real skills, that you're employable, you're trainable, and frankly, you know how to work. If you've been in the military and you haven't figured out how to work, you're missing out on something. And that's what employers want out there. They want people who are reliable, who know how to work, put a real effort in. So as you're thinking about leaving the military, think about how you might prepare to leave the military. Don't let it come as a big shock right at the end.
Not on that last day.
Plan for it. Not at all. And Soldier On can help you prepare.
Yeah.
So for someone thinking like that, what would you say to them about how do you get in touch with Soldier On?
So we are across the country. We are on bases. We are on every kind of social media there is. You've heard about the website, soldieron.org.au. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, and we are going to all of those locations. So the support is face-to-face. It's virtual. It's via email. It's really up to that individual veteran, service member or family member how we can support them. And just going to, I suppose, I've been at Soldier On for 5 years of our 10-year journey, and I've seen the companies and the organisations have a moment where they have realised what the veteran community can bring, how much those transferable skills make their businesses stronger. And with the Pathways program, it is supported by, if my numbers are correct, about 195 what are called pledge organisations. So what are they? They are organisations who get it. Yeah. They understand what veterans and their family members can bring, and we care about them and they care about the veteran community. So we talk to them about how are you going to recruit veterans and family members? So how is that process working best for your organisation and for the individual participant and that veteran as they're looking at that transition or at any stage? Then we want to know how you're going to keep that individual in the organisation. Is there mentoring? Are there other kinds of training and development? And I'm really excited to say that Soldier On also has a mentoring program that we have launched, and that is enabling that ongoing support across the businesses and outside of the organisations to wrap around and help that serving member or veteran as they transition. And then we also care about that workplace culture. And if you see an organisation with the Soldier On pledge, whether it's platinum, silver, gold or bronze, you know that they have your back because we have checked that.
And they're going to listen to you, aren't they? They want to talk to you. They want to give you an advantage. And so take advantage of it.
And they are desperate to hire you. I can tell you that employment opportunities are really, truly endless. And it's about thinking about, maybe I thought about this particular area, but there's so much more else. And that's what that Pathways officer can do, is to really open the doors to thinking differently to make the transition a hugely successful one.
And they're prepared to train you. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on. I've been out to Soldier On headquarters here in Canberra and seen some of the nights where these businesses will come in, they'll set up a little stand and they want to talk to you. Because, as Prue said, they do want you because you've got something to offer.
I would say to any serving member, veteran or family member, come along to a Pathways networking event, check out our website and the videos. You can get great hints and tips and do that direct connection with the companies. And yes, their employment opportunities, but also the education piece is huge, as you say, Peter. So we have over 50 education providers there can be recognition of prior learning because those transferable skills in the military do come across to the civilian world, and we want to make that easier for you. And they do the heavy lifting in that space. And then we've got the universities, we've got vocational education, we've got something for everyone to make the transition and to enable the veterans and family members to thrive as they step forward.
Now, there's a lot more we can tell you about this.
Absolutely.
And we'll probably come back to it, but I want to hear from Sarah now about how did you get to be part of Soldier Honour, and what's the connection bit that you've got, because it's very important.
I've known about Soldier On for quite some time now, and my husband is a current serving member of, I think we're coming up to nearly 18 years now. So I've been living the lifestyle for quite some time. I think I was 18 or something. Add that up, we'll figure out my age. We'll keep that to ourselves. But so I've been following my husband around the countryside and multiple postings, deployments, field exercises. So I understand the challenges that families face, but also the challenge my husband now faces when he's talking about transitioning in a few years' time and what that looks like for him. And it's daunting, even though it's, still 3, 4, 5 years away. It's a daunting experience. He's been doing this since he was 18 years old, so he knows no other life. And, he talks about what role he will do outside. And I think he's very lucky to have me and Soldier On, but, I was talking about the service we offer is very holistic. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. Veterans all have different needs, and spouses and partners all have different needs and different career paths that they are looking for. And the great thing about the Pathways team is that they individualise that service for them. So they'll sit down and work out, where do you want to go? They'll have that conversation. It's not, let's just get you into a job, but let's have that conversation and let's put you on the path that you need to go. And is it employment? Is it maybe we need to look at some upskilling first before we get to that stage? So he knows now about that step that he can take and that support that's available to him. And I think when I was explaining when I first joined Soldier On, you could see that sense of relief knowing I've got a tribe behind me that I can call on, that are going to help me and walk me through that process when the time comes. So yeah, I think I got a little bit off track there, but that's how I've been involved.
But can you tell us a bit about the social connections?
Yeah.
Because I see on our webpage quite often there's fishing here and there's this and there's coffee catch-ups, there's all sorts of other
braiding.
skills.
Garlic braiding.
All right,
That's been a
I think
social
I'll leave that to you.
connections
Yeah.
But how do some of those connections work? Because that's the point I was making. You leave the military and you've left your tribe.
Yeah.
How do you get back to that tribe? And one I'd particularly like either of you to comment on the women's veterans group that we've put together, because I think that's been wonderful.
Yeah. That program you talk about, Peter, is the Female Vet Connect program, and it's had amazing success. And we're just now introducing a couple more of those weekends for both male and female as well. And I've seen these veterans, turn up to these weekends that may have recently transitioned or been out for quite some time. And you're right, they're looking for their tribe, they're looking for their people. And, they find a sense of comfort in coming along, knowing that everybody there understands what they might have been through, where they're at that time, and they're all so welcoming. And by the end of the program, they are best mates. And, we have our psychology team that comes along with us, and they're able to provide some learning opportunities about conditions of service, looking after yourself. One of the big things we talked about on the weekend just gone was values, and what does that look like for you post service? What you have your values while you're serving, but what do they look? How have they changed over that time? And it's so valuable for veterans to be able to work through that for their personal goal setting, and they walk away from these weekends with this smile, and they've had a great time. And we obviously do lots of activities on there as well, and anything from archery to rock climbing to on segways, which is absolutely hilarious, but it bonds them, it brings them together. They may never have tried something like that. So they do. They have a great time on those Vet Connect weekends that we are able to offer. But outside of that, we have also activities that the families can come along to. So, our canoeing or our deep sea fishing adventure, which is an amazing opportunity that veterans get to, jump on board and go marlin fishing for a day, which is, amazing.
Now, I think I heard that the last time we did up at Port Stevens,
Yes.
there was 26 boats.
There was 17 boats.
17 boats.
Yeah, yep.
Still a good number.
Still a lot of
And
boats on the
I'll
water.
be a bit careful about the number of people who went on it, but around about 70 people went.
Yeah, yep, nearly 70.
And so it's open to everybody. Now, it sells out
Anyone
pretty
catch
quickly.
anything?
There was one marlin this time. Apparently last time there was a couple more caught.
Yeah.
But it's amazing just being out on those boats and having that opportunity to give it a crack.
And what I think is important there is those boats are the locals up there.
Yeah.
They volunteer their time and
They
their boat and their
do.
fuel and everything else.
Yeah.
Because again,
fancy
because fancy big boats,
They are
yeah,
stunning.
they appreciate what people have done, and we often say that in service we had your back, and they're having our back now.
Really,
and,
really
and I think maybe if we could talk a little bit about some of the psychology
Yeah.
support that we offer, because for some people, they're troubled by what happened to them. They don't make the transition easily.
Yep.
So how do you see the psychology support Soldier On provides?
Yeah, so they have one-on-one psychology support, but they also have group sessions available. They come along, obviously, to a number of our social connections activities to provide those sort of workshops or learning opportunities. We have programs such as Tuning Into Kids, which is a parenting program. So they have a number of different services that, again, are tailored towards the veteran and what they might need at that time. So.
How do you see that, Prue, the psychology? How important is that to what we offer?
I think the mental health and wellness is something that all of Australia has to take notice of, but the psychology program, which is where Soldier On started 10 years ago, through what I was I think that Coffee Catch Up was mental health via stealth. But it is
Yeah.
about that connection. But now the team, whether they're psychologists, clinical psychologists or counsellors, they're able to take the time to work within the system, but to work with that individual as they progress to, in the mental health journey and take steps forward in that space. So.
Prue, earlier we were talking about everybody leaves the military. You join for a sense of purpose, but you also know that you're going to leave. It's a finite time that you'll be in the military. Serve with pride. So when should you start thinking about leaving?
I think it's really worthwhile to start thinking about your transition as soon as you join the military. Having that plan, making sure you're thinking about it and connecting with Soldier On, because we're there for everything at any time. And it can be a social connections program while you're serving. It might be a touch of the employment program. It might be a bit of learning and education. But we're there at any time and continue on to support veterans and family members after their transition and ongoing. And I think that's really exciting, particularly with programs that do reach across the country and will follow the veteran and family member as they move after transition as well.
Some people are probably wondering, gee, that's a lot of stuff. They're doing an enormous amount all across the country. And they're probably thinking, how much does it cost? How much does it cost?
Well, the really magic thing about our supporters and the governments that come on board, federal and state, and our wider corporate communities, every service at Soldier On is free. And it's all centred around the individual. We take the time to provide holistic support at no cost to the veteran or family member for any of the activities, even the amazing things like going fishing for marlin and various other things. It's all for free and it will continue to be there because of our supporters.
Prue, another question I think is an important question. I said earlier we're a not-for-profit organisation, and I meant that. We're supported by so many people across Australia. We've just heard the March On this year has been enormously successful. So thanks to everybody who's been involved in that. But corporates, government, individuals are making donations. We're a not-for-profit organisation. What does that really mean? Do we make any money out of these services? For example, the employment services.
So the employment service, yes, we get veterans and their family members into the right jobs at the right time, but at no point do we ever make a commission. We're here to provide a service and provide support. To use that help model, that's what we do. So there is no commission charged. It is through the organisations who are looking to hire and will hire veterans and family members because of the amazing transferable skills. But we are here for a different model, that transition support, so we do not and will not charge a commission.
Can I ask you both, the aim of this chat is to tell people what Soldier On does and to tell them what we can do to help them.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that really stands out that we haven't covered yet, or there's something we should
I
emphasise?
have an idea here, Peter. I know Soldier On, the name is Soldier On. It may speak slightly more army and maybe the colour, but I think it's really important. We are here for all services, Navy, Army or Air Force. We don't care whether it's 1 day of service, 10 years, 26 years or more. We're here at any point in time through your journey. Whether you are serving now, thinking of transitioning, you may have transitioned a while ago, or you're a family member. And I think that's one of the key points that there's so many family members that don't always think Soldier On, but we are absolutely here for anyone who's part of that community. So Soldier On should be seen as a tool for all members of the ADF, Navy, Army or Air Force, current serving, ex or family members. When you're ready, we're here.
And it really is inclusive, because we can say that just recently, after what happened in Afghanistan, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and we've got people coming out of Afghanistan who support us on operations there, we're supporting them as well. So the Afghan interpreters and any of the other Afghan community. So I think that's important, but it does give you a sense of how big the community is and what we can do to support people. Sarah, anything that you think we should highlight?
I definitely think we should highlight more about the families. I think, a lot of the time they are following partners or have gone through that transition process as well, and they need extra support and have different needs. So all the services that we provide are available to them as well. And we're even introducing different programs for kids now too. So we're doing a photography workshop on Newcastle this week. So, we have different activities that bring the whole family together. We had a surfing workshop a couple of weeks ago where Mum and son came along and had a really, really great time. Dad had just posted to Canberra, so they were doing married unaccompanied, and that's a tough time for a family to be going through, that separation. So it was so fantastic to see the smile on that little boy's face, and he had a fantastic time. Even though he's missing Dad, he still got to come along and have a good time surfing and learning to surf that day. So.
And how do you both feel about your involvement in this? How does it should make you feel proud for what you're doing, but how do you feel about it?
It's an amazing role. I get to see, families and veterans blossom, find new friendships, and that's not easy to do as an adult, and especially when you might have gone through a challenging time, still looking for work and other things are going on at home. To have these opportunities is huge for a veteran to try a new activity that mightn't be, something that they can do on their own. It might be really expensive, or they've always wanted to try abseiling, but they've never got to do it, or another activity, and we can put that on for them and give them those opportunities. And it's an amazing role to see their faces light up and have.
Well, I can see it in your face.
I do. I get so much out of it. To see we get this feedback going. Thank you so much. I had a fantastic time. And like you said earlier about some veterans say, you saved my life, and we hear that all the time, and it's beautiful to hear that we made such an impact on their lives. And sometimes that's just from one activity. So imagine if they come along to 2 or 3.
Yeah. Prue, what about you?
I just think it's such a powerful organisation. We have so many supporters that come with us. We are part of the wider community, whether it's those pledge organisations who are looking at employment, the education, the social connections partners, the sporting partners. We bring the force behind the ADF to help them and to have their back. And can I tell you, the team is just 100% there. It's a privilege to be able to work with everyone at Soldier On.
Yeah.
And just to see what we do, and whether it's just to catch up and we're just to hear the quotes. It's not, there's activities, it's all of the different programs, but we change lives every day, and we do save lives, and we want to keep doing that more, and that's never going to slow down.
No matter if you've done 4 or 14 years service and you're looking on the horizon for something new, and you ask yourself, so what's next? Soldier On is here to support you.
Well, can I say to Sarah and to Prue, thank you. I think you've given a terrific expose of what Soldier On does. You've given a really good look, and I think a very personal look, because you've told us what it means to you. But you've also, through your observations and your closeness to our veterans, been able to give us a look at what it means to them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Soldier On. Have a look. Think about it. We all do leave the military. soldieron.org.au. We want to help you. We want to support you and your families, those people that have supported you through your service. We want to help you get a job. We want to look after your health and well-being. We want to think about what new skills you could learn, but be confident that the skills that you learnt in the military are very usable and employers want to use you. And also think about that social connectivity. Be proud of who we were in the military, be proud of who we're going to become, and stick together because you've shared some amazing things together, and I think that's important. But also look for that transition, look for your future, and Soldier On is here to help you.